The example of the Apostle Paul. One of the great and desperate crises of my life was the day I left home and parents to go around the world as a missionary. I had preached through several states for 3 years, but now I was setting out to minister in many countries of the world. I was not especially stirred emotionally about going around the world until at the railway station. I bade goodbye to my parents, brothers, and sister, and the train began to slowly pull out of the station. As my hometown faded back of me and I could hear the roar of the iron wheels beneath me, I realized I was completely on my own. I had no church to sponsor me, nor had I communicated with any organization or denomination. I had no source of finances whatsoever. God had called me supernaturally to go, and I must go. In reality, I am not a person with unequaled abilities. However, if I do have a quality that is a little outstanding, it is that I refuse to quit. This tenaciousness possibly came to me through my mother, who was a very strong person. When she went to do something, she wouldn't quit until the work was done. Maybe it is like what the Apostle Paul said to Timothy, that the virtues Timothy received were from his grandmother and mother. Whatever the case, I simply know that built inside of me is a desire never to quit doing what God has me to do. The words of the Apostle Paul to Timothy in 2 Timothy 4:7-8 are very exciting and keep me moving on the inside. Written at the end of his life, when he was ready to go to heaven, he made a dramatic declaration. I have fought a good fight. From the time he was born again until the time that Caesar Nero took off his head, Paul fought a good fight. He simply didn't quit. I hope that everyone who reads this book will do the same. Fight the devil, fight sin, fight worldliness, and fight controversy. Stand against that which is wrong. The second statement that Paul made was, I have finished my course. Few people finish their course. Even the Lord Jesus Christ said, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. John 9:4. There's an opportunity in life to obey God, to work for God. That opportunity eventually will leave and be gone forever. The great Apostle Paul wanted everyone to know that he finished his course, that he took advantage of the opportunities given to him, whether there were beatings or shipwreck or misunderstandings or prison. The third statement that he made in verse 7 was, and I like this one best of all, I have kept the faith. I have met ministers who did not keep the faith. They got disillusioned, they got hurt too much, and departed the ministry. They did not keep their faith. Faith is very much like democracy in that it cannot be inherited. Rather, it must be reborn. Children are not automatically freedom lovers. This generation doesn't realize that about young people. Parents let their children go to schools that speak against America and its founders, something that could never be done in other countries. Only people who love America should be leaders and teachers. Faith, too, must be born in a person. It must be kept. Until the day that Paul went to heaven, he kept the faith. He didn't lose it. Believers must continually rekindle the flame of faith. I have the same desire for souls and ministry within me year after year. For more than 55 years, this ministry has kept the faith. We have it now, and we're going to continue to have it. In verse 8, Paul stated the profits he would soon reap from fighting the good fight, finishing his course, and keeping the faith. Henceforth, forever in the future, he says, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness. There are rewards for those who are faithful. In my own spiritual life, I have had many opportunities to quit, to just walk off and say, God, I didn't hear your voice. God, I'm going no further. I'm going to go back. But I haven't done that. If there's a quality in me that's stronger than other qualities, it's the determination, like that of the Apostle Paul, to finish the course and to keep the faith. Paul's life as an apostle was filled with opportunities to quit. He spoke of the challenges he faced and overcame. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. 2 Corinthians 4:8-9. But Paul knew, as I did, the enablement of Jesus Christ to carry on in the face of all obstacles. He was indeed an embattled warrior who suffered incredible hardships. But God's power sustained Paul, preventing the circumstances from overwhelming him rather than deliver him from them. When you feel you are at the end of all your resources, you are never at the end of God's resources. That was how Paul could write, And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 7-9. It was that strength and purpose which God had given me that kept me on that train the day I left home to minister all over the world. While those iron wheels seemed to be clamoring, go back, turn back, I remained steadfast in my determination not to quit. When you are at the end of your rope, when you feel you cannot take another step, when you feel lost, lonely, or forsaken, when the way is too rough, too overwhelming, and you don't know how to cope, do not quit. A commentary on this message. My top 10 carry-home lessons are as follows. Number 1, stepping out of your comfort zone can be daunting. Like the Dr. SUMRALL, when faced with the unknown, recognize that this is an opportunity for growth and service. Number 2, understanding your calling is vital. Dr. SUMRALL emphasizes that despite lacking resources or support, following God's calling is paramount. Number 3, the refusal to quit is a powerful trait. Just as Dr. SUMRALL learned from his mother and reflected in Paul's life, determination can carry you through challenges. Number 4, stand firm against obstacles, whether they are personal struggles or external pressures. Engaging in the fight for what is right can lead to meaningful accomplishments. Number 5, many start strong, but few finish well. Take every opportunity to fulfill your purpose and make the most of your journey. Number 6, faith must be actively maintained. Like Paul, who persevered despite difficulties, continually nurture your beliefs and convictions. Number 7, challenges will arise, but they do not define you. Embrace hardships as part of the journey and rely on inner strength and faith to overcome them. Number 8, in times of weakness or despair, remember that God's strength is always available. When you feel depleted, you can lean on divine support. Number 9, faithfulness can lead to rewards, both in this life and beyond. Stay committed to your goals and trust that your efforts will bear fruit. And lastly, number 10, when life gets tough, don't lose hope. The message to not quit is a powerful reminder to keep moving forward, even when the path seems overwhelming.